Evening all, hope you're well. Sorry to keep you. How's everybody doing this evening? Smoking Fireman, how are you doing? Suffolk Piper, Rich Smokes. Suffolk Piper, Rich Smokes. Neo Stuff. Welcome to Cyprus. I've had a few visitors from Cyprus recently, including some Briar Blocks actually. Pipes and Bees, Tim. Welcome everybody, hope you're all well. Tim, hope you're feeling better. Saw your video earlier on. Still sounding a little bit pony, but almost. Still sounding a little bit pony, but almost there, I think. Toking Tommy, Tony Cook. How's everybody doing? Tommy, I didn't get a chance to see your video, but I see you had. I saw from the thumbnail that you've got a. Was it a new Northern Briars you've got in? Evening Gale. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're well. Happy Smoking 100. It's freezing everywhere, Neo. It's been a really cold day today here in London as well. I'm sure it has been up north. I'm sure around where Tim and Tommy are. Must have been pretty cold. It's, yeah, winter's setting in. I'm just finishing off a Magnum 54. And after that, I'll be opening this package from GQ Tobaccos. GQ Tobaccos have started a series of Christmas tobaccos, which I had a chat with Sam from GQ Tobaccos, and I asked him whether or not these were going to be unique each year, if they'd be different each year, or if it's going to be a standard Christmas blend which they'll release. And he said that he's hoping that they're going to be unique, which is really nice. I think it's interesting how lots of the tobacco houses release their special sort of Christmas blends, for the large part aromatics. I'm not a huge aromatic smoker, but I do smoke them from time to time. Chief amongst them, Blood Red Moon, but it's pretty rare that I smoke aromatics. But my name is Simon, as it says on the handle, London Calling with Simon. Whose phone is playing up, yours or mine, Suffolk? I don't know why, but most times when I'm doing a live and I watch it on the big screen so I can see the messages easily, I've always got the spinning wheel on the screen. I'm not sure why that is. Oh, and yours, right, okay. I'm just refreshing my page anyway. I still haven't... nice to meet you too, Happy Smoking. I haven't smoked the new Mastro de Paya yet. For the wife, I didn't know your wife partook of the briar. Very nice. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. You can only see your comments. I must say, for the most part, most of the London calling sessions have been okay. But every so often you do get some anomalies. I think on the last one I did, the messages weren't getting through. Messages were disabled somehow, don't know why. And I think it's got to do with YouTube's algorithms more than the internet connection. And I think sometimes if the algorithms suspect that there is something dodgy being discussed, possibly, I don't know, maybe that's what it is. Because it doesn't really make sense that just the comments should be disabled. If it's the internet feed, then it should just slow down the whole thing. Quaker Pipe is doing some skiing by the looks of it. Doing well, Hector, doing well. How's your new pipe going? It's not often that we see you with a new pipe, so it must be a bit of a celebration. Pipe and cigars in France. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. I don't think I've seen you before. Yeah, those members of the fairer sex tend to take a bit longer to get the gist of it, but I think once they do, they get hooked. Not all of them, of course. Well, it's pre-Christmas, post-office rush. I think that's probably true all around the world. I think the only way to get... Well, having said that, talking about GQ Tobaccos, what a service. I ordered this on Wednesday night, after hours. So he must have packed it and shipped it. First you ship them. First you pack them, then you ship them, right? He must have packed it and shipped it, and I mean, I didn't pay for the extra speedy delivery. I got it today. So it took 2 days, which is pretty good. I will be opening the package, of course. Oh, right. Will Fritz, I remember you. Cool, that's going back a bit. Frites or Frites? It's only a matter of time, Tommy. Once you're on aromatics, it moves from there, as you well know. Well, it's 2 days within the UK, GQ Tobaccos being in the UK. Just bear with me half a tick. Just got to let my son know something because he's out and he's just about to come back. That's it, you're off. Happy smoking's off. Have a good one. Thanks for popping by. Alright, so I'm going to open up the package. Got to clean my desk up. Right, and my cigar has just fallen into the ashtray, so I've got a bunch of ash on the head. So I'm going to leave that. Which is perfect timing. Tree is in the house, what perfect timing. Right. I'll set that over there. Curmudgeon Piper is in the house. Thank you for joining. Hello, Mr. Artie. How are you? So I've got another Ask With Mixture kit from GQ. I have a Christmas Blend 2018 and another Christmas Blend 2018. So what I want to do is blend one of their Christmas blends, see what it's like. So let's get one of these open. So GQ Tobaccos, for anybody that doesn't know, under its former guise, it used to blend tobaccos with Glyn Quelch, a real master blender, a tobacco fiddler really, forever experimenting. Hey Piping Pirate. Jeff, hi. Ooh, I almost forgot. I received a card today. And I'm not going to show you the front because it's got his and my address on it. But this came from, I'm pretty sure, from Crosby's Corner, from Jeff. So I'm going to open it. Just going to shake it, see how many dollar bills fall out. None. Oh. Merry Christmas from Crosby's Corner. How nice. Thank you very much, Jeff. Very, very nice of you. Very thoughtful. Thank you. Much appreciated. That's going to go up on my Hanukkah tree. Thanks. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Hector. Right. I see. This is not a kit. Shh, I won't tell anybody. Tommy, I've got something on Sam. All blended. No. That's naughty. He probably didn't intend for me to do this on video. Okay, so let's have a look at the tobacco. It's quite a heavy cut, almost a cube cut some of it, and quite shaggy some of it. There's a whole host of tobaccos in here. There is a list somewhere. The aroma coming off is wonderful. There's a lot of vanilla in here, or something like it. It's the type of aromatic that when you go into a pipe shop, you just smell that aroma, that aromatic aroma. It's a bit of everything, but this one, it really, I must say, it smells so good. I mean, when I compare it to some of the, how should I say this? I'm not going to say it. I'll say many other aromatics out there. When you smell them, you smell the aroma. You get this very sort of typical aromatic aroma, but it's also tinged with some chemically kind of metallic kind of aroma. I'm talking about even before you smoke it. This doesn't have that. It's just pure aromatic. It smells like cookies and cream with a little bit of spice added to it, sweet spice added to it. This is virtually ready to smoke. There's a little bit of humidity in there. I haven't got a huge amount of aromatic pipes. Let's see. Well, I guess this is the nearest I can get to it. This is the Savinelli, my second ever pipe, I think. The first one was the the Butts Chacon, which I bought from Cigar and Snuff in Covent Gardens. And this one I bought in Davidoff, actually, in St James's. I think this was the second ever pipe I bought. And when I started, this was the pipe that I smoked. And this was the pipe that got me hooked on pipe smoking, not the Butts Chacon. The Butts Chacon I smoked when I first bought it. I smoked it immediately in Covent Gardens. I felt like a real, somebody doing something they shouldn't be doing. And I kind of scuttled off into a corner somewhere, tried to light it. And of course I couldn't light it. I knew nothing about it. I couldn't get it to stay alight. I was very frustrated, as you can imagine. But that was that. But I persevered, obviously. Otherwise I wouldn't be here today. And I bought that. I absolutely loved this pipe. I smoked some very basic over-the-counter cherry blends for a little while. And then I tried some Virginias which obviously bit me, and I moved over to Blood Red Moon. I smoked that for a long time, and this pipe was pretty much dedicated to that for a long time. And then, you know, the rest is history, as you know. But I generally, if I'm smoking an aromatic, I'll smoke it in this pipe. And to be honest, when I smell the bowl, it still smells of Blood Red Moon. So I hope it won't give me a tainted experience. Cal Delta, hi. I've started my live earlier this evening. No, it's filtered. It is filtered, even though at the time it was unintentional. But it's kind of stayed in my stable because of that. Because it is filtered. And it's got a big bowl, I must say. It's one of those types that when you put your finger in, it actually seems to get wider as it goes in. It's almost like an apple shape internally, and a lot of tobacco goes in there. And I could sometimes smoke Blood Red Moon for, you know, a couple of hours, literally. I mean, Blood Red Moon I always sipped on because it is such a rich tobacco that it got a little bit too rich if you smoked it too quickly. Well, I'll leave that in the background there. Let it dry out a little bit more. Well, as I was saying, I've started a little bit earlier tonight because I've got to get up really early tomorrow morning. My wife is off to visit my kids in Israel, and she's going from Sunday to Thursday. So I will be managing the house on my own, with the aid of my kids, obviously. And we're off at about 4:20 in the morning. So that's in like 5 hours or so. So hopefully tonight's live stream won't be too long, and I'll get a bit of shut-eye before I go. And I'm really hoping over Sunday at some point, depends on what my kids are up to get started on one of the pipe blocks, one of the briar blocks. And I've drawn, I think I've showed this already, I can't remember, I've drawn a rough shape on one of the pipe blocks. It's kind of a Mad Hatter design, something like this. I've been asking around various pipe carvers' advice on how to treat the plateau, and I'm going to try and keep this plateau. I'm going to try my best to keep it if I can. So I'm going for that kind of Mad Hatter design. It's not easy because you've got to be so you've got to make that curve all the way around 360 degrees, including around this stem. So I struggled a lot with the stem last time, with carving around the stem. This leather tray is Agape Leather Goods, I think it's called. When he first started, I bought these off him. I bought 2 of them. Cheers, Art. You're always with me. My cup of coffee. If you search Agape Leather Goods, I think it's called, on Instagram, and I'm sure he's on Facebook as well, I'd imagine. But I bought these when he first started, and I paid, I think, $15. I think they were $15 each, but he sent me 2, which was very nice of him, which is a good job that he did, because the logo, I mean, it's not his fault, but I've managed over the period of time that I'm using it, when I've been cutting up some tobaccos and stuff like that, I've managed to cut through it, so there's a bit of a hole in it, but it's fine. I mean, nothing falls through really, but hopefully it won't get worse. Artful Codger is in the house. Hi, how are you? Yeah, I don't know what he charges now, but they're obviously 100 times better. He makes them so much better now. But I like these because they're soft, they're small, they're flexible, and you know, when I'm sort of pouring out the last dregs of a blend, I can just fold this up like that, either pour it back in the jar, pour it into the bowl. I use them all the time. I used to put them in my pictures a lot on my uploads, but it's just they're good. They do the job. So this is, as you know, this is the one that I did last time. And where I struggled is this section here. For the main reason being is that this part of the shank was already pre-carved. So I would have had to really get down to that area without damaging that. I don't have a lathe. Everything is done with attachments that I can attach to a drill. So I left that there because I didn't want to ruin the pipe. And it came out okay. I'm happy with it. I've smoked it a few times. It smoked absolutely fine. I have found with the pipes that I've carved in the past that the flavour wasn't really great, but this one is fine. This one was absolutely fine. I should really smoke it more and break it in more. Or maybe I'll send it to Ben to break in for me 150 times or so. With some velvet, I imagine. Right, the good thing about this is that it has already been blended, so I don't know how long he's had them mixed together, so at least I can get a good idea of what the flavour will be like. And being an aromatic, I don't think we're going to, no, not with the filter art, Ben, I'm sure. I don't think we're going to get huge improvements on this by sort of pressing it or anything like that, so we should be good to go. Let's give it a try. I've smoked what I'm smoking now, which is Virginias and Vapors. That's what I'm smoking these days most of the time. But this one is a Christmas blend from GQ, and we'll get it lit and see what it's all about. See, now when I draw on the pipe, all I get is Blood Red Moon. It's a real ghoster. I'm just thinking if I should take one of my other pipes and make it an aromatic pipe. What do you think, people? Let's have a look what we fancy for an aromatic. Meerschaum, that's not a bad idea to be honest, but Briar is generally my preferred vehicle for smoking. What have we got? What should we use? I could use one of my Tom Phillips pipes, which doesn't get smoked often enough. Maybe that's an idea. I've got this one, Tom Phillips pipe, is a pot which he made for me a while back, and I don't know why, but I haven't smoked it very much at all. Look, after one smoke I can't imagine that it's going to do a huge amount of damage, but I think that this one has got too much going on in there. There's too much ghosting on it for me to get a reasonable grip on the flavour. And just a second, I'm going to try and get the ingredients. He sent me the... we had a conversation on Messenger about Sam from GQ the other day. But it's actually on this phone, so I don't want to risk cutting off the live, so I'm going to have to leave that. But I might be able to see it on... He'll have listed some of it at least on his on the website. Christmas Blend 2018, here we are. So it's blend is Black Cavendish, Virginia, Kentucky, and the casings are fruits, cinnamon, and alcohol. I actually drilled down on that with him. There is no alcohol in here at all, apparently, but he said a whole host of flavors like peach and I actually can't remember. But let's get it lit anyway. Enough talking. Sometimes when you get a stem, you can't actually, sometimes you can't tell. It's made so equal you can't tell which side is up. Maybe it doesn't matter. Which is why you have the white spot on dunghills. Originally that was the reason, was so that people should know which way up it goes. Ben, this kind of pipe is really up your street, isn't it? Kind of a Lovat sort of billiard pot style, based on your recent video. That was the pipe you got from Bayou Guru. Well, George, everybody seems to have Amphora on offer at the moment, so grab it. Well, I recently got some Amphora from Fawn Loggins. It arrived in good order. I was very happy with the delivery. A fantastic price. It was about $6 a pouch or something like that, which here is what, £4, £4.50. It's a steal here in the UK. In the UK, for a pouch of Amphora, and you can't get them all. You can only get a couple of them. You certainly can't get Virginia here in the UK. I think they're about a £10 or £12 a pouch. The Amphora Full Aroma is not a Virginia. It's more of a. The Artful Codger style blend, I would say. It's Virginia Burley, for the most part, I think, with some aromatics in there. Yeah, the straight Virginia one is really nice. That's the yellow pouch. Full Aroma is the red pouch. They're both fantastic blends. And Ben, You know, when you were coaching me through that bowl of velvet a couple of weeks back, and you were talking about inhaling through the nose. I've been doing that with a few blends since. Hi, Aces. And there are some blends where, as you say, it's absolutely fantastic to inhale through the nose. And this one is one of them. This is really nice. The Christmas blend from GQ. I would say it's a real lots of smoke. I'm trying to see if I can get some of the flavors that he mentioned. I think what I'm getting at the moment is vanilla and possibly some coconut. A little bit of cocoa. But the main ingredient which is missing, which you get from many aromatics, is that alcohol-y, metallic-y kind of flavor, and that's great. You do get a bit of that Kentucky flavor coming through, but it is quite mild. So it's unmistakably an aromatic. When you take something like velvet or those kind of blends, you're still down to it being quite heavy on the burley. Hi John, welcome. We've just opened up the new release from GQ Tobaccos, the Christmas Blend 2018, which apparently is going to be an annual release, but will be slightly different each year apparently. And I think it's actually very clever what he's done this year as the first release as being a classic aromatic without too much complication. Very tasty. As I said, none of the alcohol-y kind of metallic flavor you sometimes get with an aromatic. I just watched back the video, the live stream from Eric, and I think I missed what he was actually smoking. Was it the ghost of something or other? Was it Frogmorton? One of the Frogmortons? Was it something you sent him, Ben? Pipe is by Tom Phillips. I've got I think 3 of his pipes. There's the Bulldog, this one, and the Freehand, I think. 3 all told. That's does that mean that's a mix that you made yourself, Ben? Evening, Elwood. This is one of his other pipes. A lovely rusticated Bulldog. Cumberland stem. Whenever I do a custom order on a pipe, it's generally speaking with a Cumberland stem. I just really prefer Cumberland stems. Did a great job with this pipe actually. Really nicely rusticated. Good proportions. Yeah, it's really nice. It's an interesting shape, like a heart shape. Did a great job. And the other one, what have I done with it? This one I smoked on Friday. Still got the remnants of the tobacco in it, very naughty. And this is a freehand which he made. It's a nice grain. And you can see the remnants of that tobacco in there. Did a little bit of a panel kind of there on the top. These are made by Tom Phillips. He doesn't really carve on a regular basis. He's not carving at the moment, but I think I saw him posting recently that he's hoping to get back into it. When he was making, I think it was this one, his something on his lathe broke, and it took him a good while to get it replaced. And I think that the expense of keeping it going, he's not a full-time carver, so I imagine he's got a full-time job. No pirate hasn't reached me yet, and I did send out a whole load of packages, as I mentioned to you the other day. I still haven't looked up the ticket, but it should be on its way to you. When did you send it? I haven't even looked up your the reference number that you sent me, pirate. But from the US, it will take anything from a week to 10 days, possibly now longer, given it's the busy season. I used to have quite a few Dagner pipes. But of course none of them are filtered, so that's me out. I'd have to look it up, Matthew, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. I've kind of lost track because I've had to send out a whole load of packages. I think yours went as well. Let me have a look. I'm pretty sure that yours went, Matthew. Pretty sure. I think they all went on Monday. So you should get them this coming week, maybe in the next 2 or 3 days, hopefully. Well, I've got to tell you that you could, you know, they are a factory pipe, the Dagner pipes, and the same with OMS. They're made, I think, in the same place. But yeah, you probably could fit a 9mm, but whether I've got to be honest, they were very well made. They are very well made, the ones that I've had. I haven't had the last 2 releases, I don't think. But prior to that, I think I had at least 1 pipe from each of the series. And generally speaking, they're very well made. They are quite chunky, some of them are not, some of them are really light. But they're well made. I think they're well made. Same with Morgan pipes. But Morgan pipes you can actually get with filters. I know that GQ sells some of them now. I think it's GQ. But there's more than one site here in the UK that stocks them. Same factory, right? Okay, fair enough, Ben. But I'm actually very impressed with them. You know, in terms of a factory pipe, they're really good. Generally speaking, the drilling on all of them was really on point. I really didn't have much to criticize them on. A lot of people talk about the reverse calabash. I mean, I've tried some of them, and I personally, and I'm no expert, but I haven't seen any benefit really. Maybe very slight. And the main reason for that, I think, is that the vast majority of reverse calabash pipes are really short and stubby. And I think that the reverse calabash, the idea of it is to give the smoke a chance to cool down in that chamber. And when you put it into a very small pipe, a very short pipe, it kind of negates that process. I understand that, you know, if you stick a reverse calabash on a long pipe, it's going to look a bit of a beast. It's going to look really disproportionate, because you're going to have this, you know, long stem, really fat stem, and it's really just it's like really what you need is a two-boss pipe, but with a long stem, and I think it'll just be too much of a beast, really. So for me, the reverse calabash idea, whilst it's a nice idea, I personally, again, I say that as a novice, but I personally don't see it as being a huge benefit when it's in a short pipe. The only benefit that I've seen of a calabash, which essentially, well, it's a proper calabash, is my Furuwara one, which you all have seen before. This one, which I've been smoking only Penzance in, so I hardly ever smoke it. But I think I'm going to actually just move this over to being a Latakia based pipe. But this one, that's your chamber. Okay, it's quite a small chamber. Obviously, it's drilled bang in the middle. But there you have your chamber, and there's a decent length of pipe for it to travel and do its thing and cool down. I did find that when I first got it, it gurgled like absolute mad, and I developed a system for resolving that, which is quite simple, and that's rolling up a pipe cleaner and just putting it in there and then putting it back on and smoking away, and not a single bit of gurgle. Everything was absorbed by that. It acted like a filter, basically, and it did a fantastic job. I've got another problem with these fat reverse calabashes, including the Ascorti ones, and it's the same problem that I have with the Savinelli 320s. And I might be stepping on some toes here, because a lot of people love the 320, and I understand why. But the 320 and the fat Ascortis, if you have a look at the Danish pipe shop, they've got a whole host of them now just come in. So that's Danish pipe shop at the moment, and you can see all of these. These are all recent additions to the Danish pipe shop, all Ascortis. Not all of them reverse calabash, some of them. So that's a reverse calabash, reverse calabash, reverse calabash, reverse calabash. Now, the first point that I made earlier is definitely true of these pipes, because they're really small. So there's really very little room for them to... Hi Andrew, thanks for joining. Very little room for that smoke to do its thing, for that chamber to do its thing. And if you really think about it, when you draw on a pipe, there isn't time for anything to happen to that smoke in such a short chamber. It just isn't there. It's immediate, you know, it's coming straight from the bowl into your mouth. So it's really not having that effect. But the second problem that I have, as I say, the same problem that I have with the 320, and I have had a 320, is that because of its stubbiness, because it's so short, the stem has to really widen very quickly from the bit. So if you imagine, imagine this was a 320 and the stem was the same width as the shank. It's got quite a relatively short stem, and it very quickly has to reach full width to match up with the because the stem is the same width as the shank. And I find that it's really quite fat already, really immediately after the bit, and I find that sometimes a bit uncomfortable. That was the problem that I had with the 320 that I had. I don't know if any of you will think that as well, but that was just me. I'm not really commenting on their smokability in terms of the combustion and you know, the thickness of the bowl and all of that, how well it smokes. It's really just, I mean, it's obviously going to depend on the drill as well. Although some people say that the width of the bowl is inherently part of the advantage in terms of getting more flavour from a smoke. But John, you'd be able to comment on that. You've been smoking probably longer than many of us, most of us, you and Ben. Yeah, that would make sense, Hector, being a good English smoker because of that wide bowl. You've got a much wider ember which is burning, so you've got a more chance of getting a wider blend of tobacco burning at the same time. That's the theory anyway. Whether in reality it works, I guess, will depend from pipe to pipe, depending on how each person loads their bowl. And like with everything, you know, we all have different smokes from the same tobacco, same pipes, but we have different experiences depending on the drill of the pipe, depending on how our cadence, depending on our environment, and all of those things that we all talk about all the time. Yeah, so we can see already from the comments there's a lot of varying experiences. Each pipe is different, absolutely. I tend to get my best experience, and I can't say that I've smoked long enough to really solidify that opinion, but I think I get the best experience all round, the best average experience from around a 19 or a 20 mil wide bowl, which I think is what most carvers do anyway. Yeah, absolutely, Ben. Absolutely. Nail on the head. Well, I have to say, this tobacco is delightful. It's really very easygoing. It's quite mild to my palate. It's a crowd pleaser. It's a crowd pleaser, and it's not offensive, like, not in any way offensive, like a lot of aromatics are to me. This is one that you could smoke in public without a problem, and I think that when I'm out and about, it's certainly one that I'm going to go for. When I'm out with my family, I must say my family overall is pretty tolerant when we're outdoors. Smoking the Christmas blend from GQ Tobaccos, which has just been released. So you guys in the UK, if you want to try it, go get you some, because he's only done a small batch. And I'm hoping for Sam's sake at GQ Tobaccos that it becomes a popular feature. You know, like some of the small batch releases. Obviously there isn't the same audience that there is in America, but and I hope he varies it as well, that it's not just hi Phil, sorry I missed you on Tuesday. And I hope he takes some risks. You know, I understand for the first few years if he plays it safe, but I'd like to see, it would be really cool to see some varied blends. Phil Osteen, everybody. We were supposed to have a little meet up at the Pipe Club of London on Tuesday, but we just missed each other. We crossed each other in the wind, as they say. I had to go early because my daughter I had an open evening at my daughter's school, so I went early and left early. Absolutely, two ships in the sea passing in the waves. You being the luxury liner, me being the old oil tanker. Good evening, Jerry. How are you doing? Nice to have you on board. Again. Boswell's best. Yeah, it's another nice tobacco. Boswell's do aromatics very well. And I've bigged up Boswell tobaccos a lot, especially Northwoods, which arguably is an aromatic, but for me it's still an English blend. And possibly I like it more than any other because it's got some aromatic in there, some sweetness in there. But I think that's all it does to it, is it just makes it a little bit more palatable for people with a sweet tooth. But I've got to say once again that the blend that Art sent me, this Barnegat, if you like English blends, guys, if you like Northwoods, give this a try. It is worth it. Tommy, are you talking about the February Pipe Flower London? Well, generally speaking, Hector, if you're going to smoke an English blend, you're not going to get good comments for it. Quite rarely. But most aromatics should really give you reasonable... Oh, that would be cool, Tommy. I hope I'll be able to make it. Let me just have a look at my diary. Let's see if I've got anything booked. Well, January looks okay. That'll be on the 10th of Jan. I've got a wedding on the day before, so hopefully I'll be up to it. And February is on Valentine's Day. 14th of Feb. Art sent me this Barnegat blend, Tim. I'll do my best to remember to send you some when I send you a package, Tim. You'll have to remind me what else I said that I was going to send you. You know what my memory's like. This blend is smoking quite wet, I will say that, but I didn't give it a huge amount of time to rest. But being an aromatic, it's going to do that even if I leave it for hours. Problem with the filter, obviously, is you can only go up to there while you're smoking. Phil, I think you should bring your significant other as a Valentine's Day present. Tell her it's a surprise. You might get shot though. Tim, didn't I tell you I was going to do, can't remember now, was it London Fog you wanted some more of? Or have I already sent you that? I don't remember. You know what I'm like. Oh wow, my nephew, I just got a text from my sister. My nephew, they just had a baby girl. Amazing. That's really exciting. My siblings and I have started marrying off our kids, and you know, every few months there's another baby, and my parents, as the doting great-grandparents, they're forever running from this one to that one to join them in their happy time. And please God, my daughter, who got married a few months ago, she's having a baby as well soon. So all being well, she'll be having a baby around February time. So it's all exciting. My son had a baby not long ago, a baby boy. So at the moment we have 2 grandchildren with one on the way, all being well. Thanks everybody, appreciate that. Grandpa Simon. The first grandchild is a special feeling, it really is. I remember when my son presented us with our first grandchild, a granddaughter. I remember I was grinning from ear to ear like a real proper Cheshire cat. And it was an uncontrollable smile. Honestly, I'm not joking now. You know, sometimes you smile, you have a... Throughout life, when you're having a good time, you smile, you laugh, whatever. This one, I couldn't control the muscles in my cheeks. The smile just stretched from ear to ear, and my kids looked at me and thought I'd gone mad. They really did. It was obviously a very emotional time as well. But when you see the... You know, you see the generation, the you know, the continuation, if you like. It's really a very special moment, and that first one, as I say, it was pure elation. Nice. Curmudgeon. My granddaughter is 3. So there's 3, and they've got a son now who's just a few months old. Jerry, you're quite a young grandpappy, aren't you? If I remember correctly, you must be around mid-50s, am I right? When you first mentioned your age, I don't remember when that was, but I was quite taken aback. That very distinguished beard that you've got really had me. 58. Well, I thought you were a lot older at the time, so that beard is very distinguished looking on you. Evening, Sam. My wife is very much looking forward to having... There's a bit of a difference when your son and daughter-in-law have a child, to your own child having a child, to your own daughter having a child. At least for my wife, it will be anyway. She's really looking forward to... Because they're going to be staying here for a few months when she has the baby, a little bit before and a bit after. And... so hopefully it'll be a very special time. It's going to be an extremely busy time of year because I'll be celebrating my 50th at the same time. My son, one of my sons, will be celebrating his 13th, his bar mitzvah. So there's a big party celebration for that. My son was born on the same day as me, on the 7th of April, which was an amazing birthday present for me 13 years ago, 12 years ago. Almost 13 years ago. My father turns 80, all being well, also around Passover time, April time. So so we're planning to do a shindig for my father for his 80th. So it's going to be a really busy time, all for good reasons. And my parents, I don't know how they do it, bless them. They're, although they have slowed down a little bit, they just run around to all of the grandchildren for the celebrations, for the birth sort of parties and things like that. The human race will certainly continue to evolve, certainly will. It's that evolution though that's worrying. What is it going to evolve into? Well, girls of 18 and 17 might not be too long. Rich smokes. Yeah, Meeks, you don't want to get me started on all of that. I can go on for hours. This is still tasting pretty good. Flavours have ebbed a little bit, or waned, if you like. That's still good. Really? Rich smokes? I'm actually looking forward to that. I really enjoyed the Crown. Really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, I was just saying that before. It does look quite similar to Ben's favoured shape. A nice little sort of saddle bit Lovat, I guess. This is not quite a Lovat. I think you'd call this a pot or a billiard. I guess a Lovat would have a longer shank and a shorter stem, possibly. This is more of a pot shape. But I'm no expert, Ben, I'm sure you know better. It certainly looks like a club. You could whack somebody over the head with it. But I did ask him to make this really nice and slender. Are you UK based, Rich Smokes? I assume you are, based on what you've just told us. South Wales, cool. Been there many a time. Vacations. Are you anywhere near Hereford? And we've all been waiting for you, Happy Smokes. We've all been sitting here wondering when you're coming back. Thank God you're here. We can all go home now. Well, we went to Hereford, or nearby Hereford, for, I think, 3 years on the trot. We really liked it there. It's a nice town centre in Hereford. Good shopping, keeps the wife happy. But we didn't go last year. This is a Tom Phillips freehand. Yes, it is a nice pipe. Thank you. It smokes, interestingly, I don't tend to put a gender on my pipes. To me, they're still objects. So I don't call them he or she usually. Occasionally I might say she, but generally speaking I don't genderize my pipes. But it smokes fairly well. I don't usually critique pipes in a proper full kind of review kind of way. Good night, Tim. Be well. A good night's sleep, mate. Keep them up. It's the best thing you can do for a cold. Tom, with these pipes, he tends to, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he drills his pipes with quite a narrow draft hole. And I find this one whistles a bit as a result. And it gives me a bit of gurgle, and that's without, they're not aromatics in here. This one would be a Virginia or a Vapor, but I do enjoy smoking it. It's a really nice pipe to look at. It's very pretty. It's a nice sort of pipe to sit back at home and relax. It's not really a pipe to take out with you. Yeah, absolutely. The same applies to tobacco, really. But you can still give an opinion. But I generally don't with pipes, because the main reason being is because I think that if I was to give an opinion with the same integrity as I try to do on tobaccos, I just fear that I might offend people. You know, when you're into a particular carver, and this is no reflection on this particular pipe at all, that carver, but when you're into a particular carver and you have several of their pipes, and you then give an honest opinion about a pipe, you know, it's really upsetting for them. And it can also affect their business, you know, there's no question about that. So what I rather do is just show them aesthetically. And generally speaking, that is enough to really, if somebody's interested in seeing a pipe from a particular carver, that will be enough. You know, it gives you a visual stimulation. And regardless of how one pipe might smoke from a particular carver, his next pipe might be spot on and be the best smoker in the world. So it's when you get up into the, and I know you might not agree with me on this, but when you get up into the higher grades, artisan carvers, I'm not talking about Dunhills, because Dunhills you can pay £1,000 for a pipe and it won't be a good smoker, not because that particular bit of briar I've had a bit of bad luck with, but because I think that it's really, and I don't mind talking about Dunhill because I'm not going to affect their business, but I think it's shameful how they're prepared to let a pipe go sometimes, the condition of a drill that they're prepared to sell a pipe in. And the same goes for Peterson, which is not so high-end. I mean, they do have some high-ends, but excuse me, but some of the Peterson pipes that I'm not a Peterson fan, you know that, I've said it many times, but the ones that I've had and the ones that I've looked at sort of with giving it a second thought, maybe I will buy one, and I've had a look at them, I'm not going to say every time, but a lot of the time I'm really quite dismayed at how they're prepared to let the pipe go out for sale. And so these kind of pipes, for the most part, I'll really only buy them when I can see them and hold them and check them and inspect them. For the most part, occasionally I have bought, I've bought a Dunhill pipe, a new Dunhill pipe online, and I don't smoke it very often, not for that reason. It's been drilled fine and that's not the issue, there's another reason, but generally speaking, a high-end pipe. So the point I was getting to is that when you get to a high-end pipe and you're getting into the between $500 and $1,000, and you kind of get to know the provenance of that particular carver, and you kind of read up on them, and you kind of do some research and to see what their ethics are and what their modus operandi is. In other words, that they are absolutely particular about their pipes being spot on mechanically, then you can kind of take a bit of a punt. And one particular carver which I've mentioned a few times, which I plan on doing, and I still haven't because of the financial side of it. I've got to really find a time when I can justify it, and that's I want to get a pipe from Steve Morissette. I read up on him and I've seen some of his work, and I just love the way his pipes look, and they're not over the top, but you know, it's the type of carver who I feel that if I get a pipe, it will be spot on. It's a risk that you can take, and I think he's also one of these type of people who stands by what he does, and if you're not happy with it, he'll take it back, and that to me is worth so much. If a carver's prepared to stand up to his work and stand behind his work rather. Wow, time has flown. We're ready on what? An hour and 10 minutes. Right, we'll let this go a little bit longer, and then I'm going to have to get some sleep. Let's say I've got to be up at 4 in the morning, which is in 4 hours. I did get a little bit of shut-eye this afternoon. Not much, a little bit. On pine, you mean just regular wood from the local... Well, I've got to be honest with you, that when I get past this stage, and I feel that I've sort of got to some level of experience, I mean, these sleep's overrated. These ones, as I say, I ordered these from Greece, and they had a little sale on, and I bought 4 blocks. And for me, I've got to start this way because I don't have the machinery to do stems, and I don't have the machinery to carve bowls, you know, perfectly round. I don't have a lathe. So I really want to just take it in a sensible tempo, not to just go gung-ho, start spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on machinery which will end up sitting in my garage and not being used. So I really want to just keep at doing these, seeing if I can perfect them to the extent that it doesn't look like a kit pipe. That's where I want to get to. And if I can get to that stage, if I can improve my staining, I can improve my sanding and my shaping, I think I will have to get some machinery. I do need to get, I'd like to get a sander, a belt sander, because that will give me a lot of control in some of the difficult to get areas. But for the moment, I'm not going to be spending any more money on machinery. For now, I'm carrying on the way I've been going, and I think this is a reasonable effort. You know, it does look a bit chunky, and you can see that I've not had the ability to really get into the shaping, but overall it was a fair result. So I want to take it to another level, hopefully, and that's why I've done a little bit more of a complicated shape on this one. I've got to also work out how to deal with this, and I was told to use a wire brush for this. We'll see how we go. I'm hoping to make a start on that tomorrow. I was actually thinking originally of starting that tonight and actually doing it live, but I just thought it'd be pretty boring for you guys to just watch that going on. But when I do start it, I don't mind doing that live if that's of interest. Yeah, absolutely, Meeks. That's true, but whereas the lathe may not end up getting used, the pipes generally will. So until I'm at a stage where I feel that I'm really going to make a go of it, we'll see how we go. Well, you'll probably get plenty of people who'll take your kidney, assuming it's healthy. It's funny you should say that. This afternoon I was reading a little pamphlet about an organisation that partners people up for kidneys. And I think that it's probably, I know this is a bit of a left turn here, but people who are prepared to donate part of their body to help save somebody else, that's got to be the most charitable thing you can do. The most altruistic thing that a person can do, really, to give away a part of themselves. That's quite an amazing thing to do. At the end of the day, hi Ben, thanks for joining. Hola. You know, if you give away a kidney, you're left with one, and you can function perfectly well with one. But if, God forbid, something happened to your kidney, the one that's left, you'd be in the same boat as the person you helped. So people that are prepared to do that, That's pretty amazing. Very good, Jerry. My desk is looking like my grandfather's house in the Blitz. For those of you who watched my other live stream the other day. Okay, that's that bowl done. So overall, I've got to say, this is a very nice blend. It's pretty safe, but really tasty, aromatic. Absolutely no artificial flavour in there whatsoever. So I really 100% recommend this blend to anybody who likes aromatics, or anybody who just wants something aromatic for the Christmas period, or a blend that they can take out and about, or smoke when they're around the family or the public generally. A very, very nice blend. It's not remarkable, but it's nice. Let's put it this way, it's an aromatic done very, very well. I think that's a good way to describe it. Good night, Meeks. Sleep well. Hi, Logan. What I would suggest is you just get yourself a, depending on how Scroogey you are, I would say get yourself a corn cob and get yourself an over-the-counter pouch of tobacco and see how it goes. Watch videos on here, people like Mutton Chop Piper, who will give you plenty of tutorial videos, and see how it goes. But I certainly wouldn't advise putting your hand out on your first interaction with other pipe smokers. I say it how it is. Sorry, it's just me. Just kidding, Logan. Get yourself a corn cob. Definitely get yourself a corn cob. If you're in America, it'll cost you, I don't know, $4, $5, $6. And you can get yourself a gram or two, an ounce or two for $3 or $4 of OTCs. Go on to Fawn Noggins, they've got some bulk blends, or any of the Cuppa Joes, any of these big internet sites, and you're good to go. Yeah, another piece of advice is don't come onto a live where you've got 30 people who are going to give you a different opinion where to start. Go to a brick and mortar shop and talk to the guy behind the counter. Let him ask you questions about the type of things you like. Have a whiff of a few of the over-the-counter jars. See if any of them appeal to you. And just try them there and then, you know. And let the guy give you guidance there and then on how to pack your pipe and load it. Let him help you load your first bowl. The last thing you want is to have a negative experience on that first bowl, which is what a lot of us did, me included. Try and make that first bowl as meaningful as possible and as successful as possible, and the way to do that is either to meet up with a pipe smoker who can help you, or go to a shop, to a brick and mortar, and let him guide you and help you along. One where they've got a lounge where you can sit and sample. If you're anywhere near Boswell's, head over to Boswell's. They've got a lounge you can sit and enjoy a pipe, and they sell corn cobs as well. And take it from there, you know, see if you like it. As they say, suck it and see. It's pipe smoking time, yeah. Well, I'm not going to start another cigar now because I'm going to bed soon. So, I could go for another bowl of that, you know, that aromatic, that Christmas blend. I could. It was quite pleasant. Oh, this stuff smells good. Tim opened up a tin of 2013 Christmas cheer this evening. Sounds like he really enjoyed that. A corn cob is for eating for the most part, but if you get a dried up one and you put a little sort of stick on the end of it, you can smoke them, and you can smoke anything in them. Yeah, Hector, I think that's a fair comment actually, come to think of it. But I would hope that if you go to a good quality B&M, that they would guide you on that. Although having said that, they'd probably want to sell their own sort of blends, house blends. But plenty have fantastic house blends, so nothing wrong with that. I brought a big old mixing bowl up thinking that these were in kit form, but they're already been mixed. I've got to be honest with you, Hector, I think on your first smoke most people will scald their tongue on pretty much anything, unless they're guided. I wonder how many people on their first ever smoke knew that they have to dry out a tobacco. Most tobaccos. You know, if you're not going to dry out a tobacco, whatever you're smoking, there's a good chance of getting tongue bite. Well, if you are going to buy a briar to start with, you can't go wrong with Savinelli. It's the way I went after that Buckshire Crown. That's the one I started with. Evening, Morgan. Guten Morgen, Morgen. Wow. There we go. GQ Xmas 18. We'll see how she fares. Alright everybody, it's that time of the evening, or morning. It's 12:15 and I've got to be up very soon. So, I thank everybody once again for joining. Thank you Morgan, Pipes, Jerry, Hector, Eric, Ben and Ben, John, Meeks, Logan, Guy Walsh, hi, I didn't see you there. Thanks for joining. Philistine, if you're still there. Tree, sleep is overrated, my friend, as you said. And everybody else. Sam online, thank you for joining. Tim is left already. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, what's left of it. And I hope that I will get to start on that block tomorrow. And perhaps I'll take you along as I get through it. Good evening, everybody. Good morning, wherever you are. And I will catch you on the next one.